Good evening and welcome to Boom Market Stock Show. This is your host, Ramson. And I do apologize for yesterday with the load shedding story, and it's possible that will happen again today. So please be patient with me. If the electricity goes off, I will still continue, even if the electricity goes on. Because look, things will not change in this country. So we just have to push on regardless. Look, we've been with the load shedding for quite some time. So it's no use I'm stopping the show just because of the power that is basically going off. I have a leave battery life on my routers and fiber, so that can still continue. I will still continue even if the lights go off because we have the potential in that. But let's start with some mega stories that actually happened. Look, we have the Tesla story. That Tesla get removed from the S&P 500. It actually plunged the S&P 500 and also the Nasdaq. If you look at the Tesla shares, it actually went further down, and that is all to do with some discriminational shares. But I will actually go to the article on that. So please don't forget to like, subscribe. Please do leave your comments and questions, and then I will answer them on the show. Let's get to that big story. But also, there's quite a lot of inflation news that also came through today. And that is now from major countries. One of them was actually from Europe and then also from the Swiss. But let's start first with South Africa, and then we get through that. And I'm just actually trying to get there. This is what South Africa. Now, this is all to do with South Africa tomorrow, and that is now with the major interest rate decision that will take place tomorrow. Look, a lot of economists predicting a 50 basis points, that is for tomorrow, to lift up the interest rates in South Africa. And on top of that, we may look at June, then we're looking at a petrol hike or fuel hike or gas hike, or however you want to mention it, that may increase with about 3 rand a liter. So which means the petrol price will be officially 24 rand per liter. So which means nobody will drive anywhere, nowhere. You just have to sit at home, basically. Now, this is the inflation rate of South Africa. It was at 10 a.m. this morning. It was at 5.9%, and then the core was at 3.9%. Now, that lift up potentially the rand a bit, strengthen the rand a bit against the US dollar. We hope for more. I hope the South African Reserve Bank do hit a surprise, because if you look for tomorrow, I'm just actually scrolling there to South Africa interest rate decision. They expect also a 50 basis point tomorrow. A 50 basis point. It has forecast. Look here, it has been forecast at 4.75%. That is for tomorrow. The interest rate is currently at 4.2%. So they expect a 50 basis points for tomorrow. We might get a surprise to surprise the market by literally pushing up, maybe with a 0.75%. We don't know, but we will actually have to hear that on the second year. So please don't forget that. We're looking at a 50 basis point rate hike for tomorrow, and that will push up the interest rates to 4.75. That is now for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Please don't forget that. For those of you who own cars, who own your houses and all of those things, so please, you guys need to pay attention to that, because it will be actually a very rough period ahead. So let's go back to the inflation stories. That it was inflation for South Africa at 5.9%. As I said in the comments below, South Africa has the potential of having higher inflation going forward. And that is to do also with the crisis that is currently in Durban. Now, the big thing is the inflation rate in the euro area. Now, a lot of traders been selling the euro, and that is actually a very good reason, because the inflation is at 7.4% in Europe, and the interest rate is at 0. So what you have to do, sell it. I mean, with inflation with at 7.4%, you're supposed to lift up the interest rates long ago. The European Union are taking long, and that's why traders are selling it, and it has the potential of even going further down and push up inflation quite further out in the euro area. Now we're looking at the retail sales of South Africa. Look here. It's actually down by 0.3. This was actually a 2%, and it's a 0.3%. This is the year-on-year retail sales at 1.3%. It was forecast at 1.5%. So retail sales is literally better in South Africa, and that has all to do with actually the higher prices. Inflation in Canada, I'm just racing through this. Inflation in Canada is sitting at 6.5%, and you have core inflation year-on-year at 5.7%. But this was actually the major story. I'm just trying to fix here my screen. This was, sorry about that. This was actually the major story in Canada. Sorry, not in Canada, in the Swiss. Sorry about that. I'm just going actually all the time into Twitter. This was actually the story of the Swiss franc. Now, the SNB, I hope you guys can see, the SNB stands for the Swiss National Bank. Chairman Jordan, if inflation strengthens, the central bank is ready to act. Now, those of you who knows trading and knows trading very well and have the experience of the Swiss franc, be very careful of this currency, because those of you who can still remember this story that happened where the Swiss franc literally crashed the market. Forex brokers went bust, traders went bust, everything went to hell. Those of you who knows the story about the Swiss franc, it happened, I think, in 2015 or 2014. It happened. And that has all to do with the decision where the Swiss franc is going to drop, the euro and all of those things. And this is what happened. It crashed the market. Those of you who like to trade with the Swiss franc, look, for the first time in decades, the Swiss central bank is going to lift up the interest rate because inflation is quite high. Those of you who knows the Swiss franc knows it has a potential of this massive crash that happened. I think it was in 2014 or 2015, where it literally crashed down. Forex traders, it crashed actually. Brokers, they went bust. So please be very careful with the Swiss franc, because the market will become jittery on how much they're going to lift up the interest rates. Now, the big thing is about Switzerland. The interest rates in Switzerland currently is at negative 0.75%. That is actually the interest rates on 0.75%. Now, if the interest rate is on negative 0.5% and you lift it up, like in South Africa's instance, with a plus 0.5%, it's still going to be negative 0.25%. So what must the Swiss do? It's all the Swiss is going to go aggressively lifting up the interest rates, and that could lead to that graph that I just showed you, because they need to get out of the negative territory. That is actually what Switzerland is in. So you have to be very careful on Switzerland, and also with that, the Swiss currency also gained some momentum, because obviously the inflation is a bit of a problem in Switzerland. Now, we're going to the big story of today, and that's why these buggers were crashing basically today. Was the story of Tesla. Look, this whole bloody thing doesn't add up, and it doesn't make sense. Tesla removed from S&P 500 index on autopilot discrimination, which has apparently to do with racial discrimination. I don't know, I think maybe at the factory or something in Tesla. And then the shares got to do with autopilot, so which means the shares is trading, nobody can basically buy it. But if I just actually look at this particular part here, include the racial discrimination against the company, and it's handing over government investigation after crash linked to its autopilot vehicle. Now, this is all to do with, obviously, with Elon Musk taking Twitter, and that was the whole story. And obviously that has to do also with the NASDAQ coming down. That is also to do with the S&P 500 coming down. It's actually sad, because if you look at the NASDAQ, if you look at particular at the NASDAQ was actually doing well. And I thought the NASDAQ would actually go a bit higher up. But the thing is that this whole Tesla discrimination story, that actually pushed the prices a bit down. You can see Apple is down with say about 5%. Tesla is down about nearly 8%. And that is all to do with this story of discrimination. Look, there's a lot of discrimination cases that goes around, racial discrimination, but is that necessary for the government of the United States to literally put the Tesla shares on autopilot because nobody can buy it? Is it really the case? Or is that to do with Elon Musk, basically simple, bought actually Twitter the last time? I think it's definitely to do with that, and that's why the government of the United States is looking for a problem with Elon Musk. For the market as it is for tomorrow, honestly, it had a flat day of trading, and this news came in and then just disrupt everything. I was expecting a greener actually day for trading for today, but that was not the case. Now, if you look for tomorrow for news, one is the South African interest rate. Those of you who like to trade with rand, you just have to check on that. We also got some pressure from the US dollar climbing up. I did not expect the dollar to climb out today. I was thinking more we will get a softer dollar and not a strong dollar, because what happened with Jerome Powell yesterday, or what he spoke about yesterday, he was talking about an interest rate and they will be aggressive and lift up with 0.5%. That is what we all know. That is what we all know. So I thought we will get a softer US dollar or a flat market for the worst case scenario. But then we got actually a massive, quite a large jump actually from the US dollar. And the other thing is also, if you look at the bonds market, the bonds starting to sell actually quite aggressively. It's actually at a negative 0.1. That is now for the bond yields. So it looks like there's momentum driving in for the US actually shares. Someone is dropping me a bit of a comment. Is that Tesla story going to push gold even further up? Tesla shares and gold had actually nothing to do with each other. I doubt it's going to do anything to gold. Gold will actually go, for me personally, I still believe that gold will go to 1680. You just have to be very patient with gold, and obviously you have to have quite a large account when you trade with gold, because gold has actually some mood swings. I still believe that gold will go to 1680, and that has all to do with the interest rate hike on the United States that lifting up the interest rates quite aggressively. Look, even the Swiss franc or the Swiss is lifting up interest rates today, which is actually very weird, because those guys don't know of lifting up actually basically interest rates. It's a very weird day. The bond yields are coming down. We have a stronger dollar, and you have the indexes basically coming down. We have to go look at tomorrow's what will be the story, but we might see actually a bounce back from the Nasdaq tomorrow, because honestly, I did not expect obviously the Nasdaq to go down drastically, and that's all to do with the story of Tesla. I do expect a more greener day, but we will see tomorrow at my 10 o'clock show on the radio, on Mixler, so on the breakfast show. So please, on my Facebook profile and all over, you will see my signals that I will give in the mornings also on my radio show. So please do subscribe on Mixler, and then you will get my shows also there. So that is it from my side. The lights is still on. There's no problem. I'm actually surprised about it. But that is it from my side for today. Thanks a lot for listening. And then I will see you guys tomorrow at 8, or you can just follow me for signals for tomorrow at 10 o'clock on my radio show. That's it from my side. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.